Imagine this: in the middle of the night, stealth jets cross into Iranian airspace. No warning, no announcement. Within minutes, explosions hit some of the most protected nuclear sites on Earth. This was not just an attack, this was a message. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. But how did the US and Israeli actually pull this off? This was not a simple airstrike, it was a carefully planned, multi layered military operation designed for one purpose: to break into one of the most protected nuclear programs in the world. The operation started long before the first jet took off. For months, unlikely years, the United States had been watching Iran's nuclear facilities closely, using satellites, surveillance aircraft, and electronic monitoring systems. Analysts built a detailed picture of every major site. They studied entrances, underground tunnels, power systems, and even ventilation shafts. Because when a facility is buried deep underground, you don't just hit the building, you have to understand what's beneath it. Once the targets were confirmed, the next challenge was clear. How do you get inside Iranian airspace without being stopped? Iran operates layers air defense systems, including radars, networks, and surface-to-air missiles. So before any strike could happen, these defenses had to be weakened. The first phase of the attack focused on exactly that. Electronic warfare aircraft were deployed to jam Iranian radar systems. These aircraft sent powerful signals that confused or blocked enemy radars, making it difficult to track incoming jets. At the same time, anti-radiation missiles were used. These missiles are designed to detect radar signals and destroy the source. So if a radar system turns on, it immediately becomes a target. This forced Iranian air defenses into a difficult position: stay active and risk being destroyed, or shut down and become blind. With air defenses weakened, the next phase began. Stealth aircraft moved in. These are some of the most advanced machines in the world, designed to avoid radar detection. Aircraft like the B-2 Spirit bomber can fly deep into enemy territory while remaining extremely difficult to detect. This capability is critical because nuclear sites are not located near borders, they are deep inside the country. Stealth allowed US aircraft to reach these targets with much lower risk of interception. Then came the most important part of the mission: the strike on the nuclear infrastructure itself. Iran's key facilities, like nuns, are heavily fortified. Many of them are built underground, protected by layers of concrete and rock. A normal bomb would do a very little damage. So the US used specialized weapon known as bunker buster bombs. These bombs are designed to penetrate deep into the ground before exploding. Instead of detonating on the surface, they break through layers of protection and explode inside the structure. This changes everything. A surface explosion might damage buildings, but a deep explosion can destroy tunnels and entire underground holes. One of the most powerful weapons used for this type of mission is the massive ordnance penetrator. It is extremely heavy and designed specifically for hardened targets. It's carried by stealth bombers and dropped from high altitude to gain maximum impact force. The physics is simple but devastating. The higher the speed, the deeper the penetration, the more damage happens underground. But hitting the ground is not enough. These strikes require extreme precision. Modern US weapons use GPS guidance systems that allow them to hit within a few meters of the target. This level of accuracy means the attack can focus on critical points inside the facility, like the tunnel entrance, control buildings, or key infrastructure. And instead of destroying everything, the goal is to destroy what matters most. And this was not a one-time strike. The attack was carried out in multiple waves. The first wave weakened defenses, the second wave hit the main nuclear targets, and the third wave focused on follow-up strikes. These follow-up strikes are important. They target things like power supplies, access roads, and repair capabilities, because even if a facility is damaged, it can recover unless you stop the whole facility from recovering. Another key part of the operation was aerial refueling. Many of these aircraft had to travel long distances to reach their targets. Tanker aircraft were used to refuel jets in midair, allowing them to stay in the mission longer and operate far from their bases. This gave the US the ability to strike deep without needing nearby bases. At the same time, surveillance never stopped. Drones and satellites monitored the targets in real time. After each strike, analysts checked the damage. If something survived, it could be targeted again. This created a continuous loop: strike, observe, strike again if needed. But even with this all power, destroying nuclear facilities is not easy. These sites are designed to survive attacks. They're buried deep, reinforced heavily, and often spread across multiple locations. That means no single strike can fully eliminate them. It requires repeated, precise, and coordinated attacks over time. And that's what makes the operation very different. This was not just about sending a message, it was about causing real long term damage to Iran's nuclear capability. A mission that combined intelligence, stealth, precision weapons, and advanced coordination, all working together at the same time. Because in modern warfare, it's not about how many bombs you drop, it's about how precisely and how effectively you hit what truly matters. After the airstrikes inside Iran, the war did not slow down. It escalated. In the days following the US and Israeli attacks, Iran responded with series of missile launches toward Israel. These were not random strikes. According to multiple reports, some of these missiles were aimed at areas in the southern Israel, including locations close to the Negev Nuclear Research Center, widely known as the Dimona Nuclear Facility. This immediately raised a global concern. The Dimona facility is believed to be one of Israel's most sensitive and heavily protected sites. Because of its importance, it's surrounded by multiple layers of air defense systems, including advanced missiles interception technologies. So when missiles were launched toward the area, the situation became extremely serious. According to the latest updates, sirens were activated across southern Israel, including the cities of Dimona and Arad. Residents were told to take shelter as incoming missiles were detected. At the same time, Israel's air defense systems responded immediately. Systems like the Arrow missile defense system and Iron Dome were activated to intercept the incoming threats. These systems are designed to track, calculate, and destroy missiles while they are still in the air. And in many cases, they succeeded, but in some, they failed. Reports confirmed that several missiles were intercepted before reaching their targets. However, not all impacts were avoided. Some missiles or debris landed in nearby areas, causing damage and injuries. More than 100 people were reported injured in the wider wave of attacks across Israel, though not all were directly linked to the Dimona area. What made this moment critical was not just the damage, it was the message. By targeting areas near Dimona, Iran was sending a clear signal. If its nuclear program is attacked, it can respond by threatening Israel's most sensitive locations. However, there is no confirmed evidence that the Dimona nuclear facility itself was directly hit or damaged. Israeli defense system appeared to have prevented a direct strike on the core facility. Still, the danger was real. This exchange showed something new in the conflict. For the first time in this escalation, both sides were not just targeting military bases, they were signaling readiness to strike strategic and nuclear related sites. And that changes everything. Because once nuclear facilities becomes part of the battlefield, the risks are no longer local, they become global. The situation now is no longer just about airstrikes and retaliation. It's about how far each side is willing to go and whether the next strike will be even more dangerous than the last. Right now, the war is still unfolding. The airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites and the missiles attacked toward Israel have pushed the region to the edge. The big question now is simple: will this stop or will it grow into something bigger? So far, the United States and Israel have made their goal clear. They want to stop Iran's nuclear program completely, not slow it down, not delay it, but end it. At the same time, Iran is also sending a clear message. It will not back down. Instead, it has shown it can respond with missiles, strikes, regional pressure, and escalation across different fronts. And this is where the situation becomes dangerous because this is no longer just a conflict between two countries. Iran has allies in the region. The United States has military bases across the Middle East. The key word here is the oil. And when it comes to the oil routes like the Strait of Hormuz are under threat. And any mistake, any miscalculation could pull more countries into the fight. Global powers are now watching closely. Some are calling for de escalation, others are preparing for the worst, because if this conflict expands, it will not stay in the Middle East. It could affect global oil prices, international trade, military bases around the whole world. And that's why many analysts are seeking a serious question. Are we getting closer to avoid a war, maybe even a global one? For now, there's no clear answer. What we do know is this: the strikes on Iran's nuclear sites were not the end. They were just the beginning of much larger confrontation. This is a story that's still being written day by day, strike by strike, and even hour by hour. What happens next could shape the future of the entire region. And if you want to understand what's really happening behind the headlines, make sure you follow the channel because in the next episode, we'll break down the hidden side of this war, the intelligence, the cyber attacks, and the shadow operations you don't see in the news. This is the world of intrigue, and the story is far from over.